It's a real fake news update, not brought to you by Pfizer. Today, this week, we are taking a look at CNN's coverage of the recent announcement by Elon Musk and Doge that they're going to be holding government officials accountable for what they do during the week. Here's the header. They've been running this for the last few days. Pretty scary stuff, guys. Federal workers fear job cuts, service disruptions amid Elon Musk's Doge push. Federal employees are raising alarms over Elon Musk's push to reshape the U.S. government, an effort now compounded by a weekend directive for workers to justify their jobs in writing. The mounting pressure has left many in the federal workforce feeling vulnerable. Well, let's see. How vulnerable are they? I'm sure that must be traumatic getting an email from someone telling you, and it's not their boss, but it's somebody doing some outside, coming in and saying, what's going on in this company and what are you doing? We've seen this before. Now, look, is that the whole story? Of course, it's not the whole story, but how far does CNN go with this? They bring on an employee that fit the bill for the woe is me. I'm just like you watching at home. I have a family to feed, this whole bullshit. She has the time to go on CNN and tell us how horrible it was to get this news. Here we go.
Tell us about this email and what it was like receiving it and what you all have talked about after getting it.
Sure. I got this email Saturday afternoon, about 3 p.m., and I felt absolutely infuriated getting this email with a demand within 48 hours to provide a response on what I did within the last week or face termination. This is clearly an attempt from Elon Musk to harass and bully and intimidate the federal workforce, which is part of his broader plan to gut the federal workforce and privatize public sector services to ensure that corporations like his own can get more profit. And that makes me really angry, and my coworkers as well.
Really angry. Oh, petrified. Do you think that this CNN host had any sense to ask her any follow-up question? I don't know. Like, how did you have the time to come in here and tell us this? But you didn't have the time to answer the email. Yeah, no, that question wasn't asked at all. But guys, we're talking about this happens at companies. It should happen even more at a federal company because this is our taxpayer money. This isn't just like a corporation working off their own privatized system where they do it all the time. They bring in outside companies. It happens all the time. And we see this. You guys know this happens. So anybody who thinks this is woe is me, oh my God, what a horrible thing's happening to this woman. For those of you who think that, let me remind you, if you have any Office fans out there, this actually aired on The Office a few years back. And I think this is a hilarious replay of this famous scene of what do you do? What exactly do you do here? Check it out.
Oh, mine.
Oh, thanks. I'm really looking forward to sitting down with you and finding out more about what you do here.
Anytime.
Yeah. What do you do here?
Excuse me. What is wrong with this woman? She's asking about stuff that's nobody's business. What do I do? Really, what do I do here? I mean, I should have written it down. Qua something. Quabity Ashwins. No, but I'm getting close.
Creed, that's quality control. He all those years he worked at The Office in Scranton, and he never knew that he was quality control. Creed, quality control. So yeah, that would be like the character Creed going on CNN and boo-hoo-hooing about having to say what they actually do at the company. That's how ridiculous this is. Now, later on in that evening, there was a follow-up, and this is where we get the real in real fake news, because I'm shocked they haven't fired this guy yet. But you guys know this dude. He is the only pushback voice left on that network, and he's going to make this point, and it actually airs, and he actually calls out his own network. I am shocked they have not fired him yet. Check this out.
Of federal workers, and it is just plain wrong.
And it's random.
It's abusive.
It's random.
It's abusive.
Yes,
to get an email?
I do think that. I think the way that they are. Yeah, I think the way that they are treating them.
Why? How is this abusive?
Scott, have you ever gotten an email from someone that said you better do this or else you're going to resign?
Yeah, it's called having a boss in the private sector.
From someone who's not your boss?
The White House is every federal worker's boss. That's number one.
Elon Musk is not anybody's boss.
Scott, how is Elon going to evaluate? I mean, how is he going to evaluate the work of thousands of federal employees when he has no idea what they do?
He's not. The test was, are you even paying attention to your email? Are you even at your terminal?
Some federal workers, he sent it on a weekend. Some federal workers do not have access to their emails on the weekends. They just don't.
Did they go to work today? I mean, look, the amount of outrage.
I love her pushback. Some they don't have access to their emails. Yeah, well, why aren't these people being asked that? Like, so you've seen the email, but you weren't able to access? I mean, come on, that is literally you're just come on, that's stretching it like I've never seen. I mean, come on, and I'm glad he's pushing back. I can't believe they haven't fired this guy yet, because he's been doing this a lot this year since the election. He's been doing this a lot. I love it, actually.
Melting down and sort of outpouring of emotion over this ought to tell you everything you need to know. We had a lady on CNN today, a supposed federal worker, who said she was infuriated by getting this email. She had time to go on CNN, but she didn't have time to send a 30-second email saying, here's what I was working on last week. This is what people in the private sector have come to hate about how they view the public sector. And I think there's a great many very dedicated public servants. But you said, it's about control. Yes, it's about control, and it's about finding out who is actually at their job working and who isn't, and do we need all these people?
Ladies and gentlemen, Scott Jennings, current CNN senior political commentator, soon to be jobless himself, I would assume, after enough of these. But he literally just called out his own network for going through that charade you guys just saw previously, which literally looks like an Office sketch at this point, which is, we do the Office clip for you. But this is, and who knows, maybe they're keeping Scott Jennings on because it gives them a little bit of just that little touch of self-awareness, keeps whatever viewership they have left, saying, well, at least they're pushing back on themselves there. And he's just talking about it. It's not going to change. They're still going to go about their business as usual at CNN. So who knows? Maybe that's the game. I mean, he just, pretending to be pushing back on this. But we know that we don't need Scott Jennings to tell us this. We could tell right away when we watch this crap, which was shared on Twitter. We love seeing these clips. We love seeing these clips show up on Twitter on our feed, because we don't have to go and literally watch CNN. Oh, God, no, I don't want to watch CNN. And we told you guys earlier, all day long, yesterday, even CNN, all they did all day was play clips of pundits and experts coming on to tell us that they're outraged and horrified that Trump won't call Putin a dictator. So that's how bad it is at CNN. Speaking of Ukraine, we're going to end this segment with one more example of CNN theater. And this is the Ukraine saga. We're going to talk about Ukraine a little more later. But with this segment, you can see the tides are turning regarding the narrative of Ukraine and this war that was unwinnable by Putin at one point. You guys remember that? This is a shut case, open and shut case. Ukraine all the way. Putin has no chance. He's trembling. That's been the narrative for mostly the last 3 years. And now we saw two things happen here on CNN. Check out, this is that asshole Brian Switzer. He comes on to do some damage control. And then the headline below him, we're going to talk about that in a second too. But this is all damage control for Ukraine. This is CNN trying to steer the narrative again. So here we go. We're still on a real fake news update. This is some real fake news for you guys still over at CNN. Here we go.
At least it's pretty obvious what's happening. Some of this, I fear, is about illiteracy on the part of the voters, not knowing, for example, about the spending that's going to Ukraine that's actually funding American technology, right? Funding American manufacturing plants.
Okay, so what he's talking about, I'm sorry, this is hilarious. So he's blaming the voter, blaming the viewer, punching down, as we say on the homeless left. This is an actual living example of punching down to your own viewers. Could you imagine if we did that to you guys? No, you guys are watching us. We're on the same team. There's a reason you're watching us. We give you some respect. We want to enlighten you with some stuff. We want you to help enlighten us with some stuff. It's a give and take. That's how it works. This guy is literally telling what's remaining of his audience that they're too stupid to understand that Ukraine wasn't actually about democracy. That's what he's saying. So we lied to you about that. It really wasn't about democracy. There was something else going on that you guys didn't really fully understand. We tried to tell it to you. We were telling you about the democracy thing, having Paul McCartney wave a Ukrainian flag around on a stage 3 years ago, saying, "Yeah, we're bringing peace and democracy." So what you're saying, Brian Seltzer, is you're telling us that the real reason that we were in Ukraine and we're still trying to do this is because of American jobs, i.e., weapons and killing and murdering and weapon contract money laundering for Americans to benefit Americans specifically who work in the weapons industry. That's the part we're just too stupid to understand. It was always an opportunity for American jobs because Ukraine is actually a corporation. It's no longer a democracy. We took that away from them in 2014. If it's not obvious to you now, it should be effing obvious. They haven't had an election. They've canceled all. They've canceled journalism. They've canceled churches. There's no functioning of democracy in Ukraine. And what he's telling us is that it was about the opportunity for American companies to profit off of a fake story that we needed to stop Putin from taking over the planet. Let's hear him say it one more time. Yes, your ears do not deceive you. This is Brian Seltzer telling his own audience that they're too stupid to understand capitalism and why war is a primary factor, if not the essential primary factor of continuing capitalism and the profit over people model that only benefits CEOs, shareholders, billionaires, elites, and not you, because it's a big group, but you ain't in it. Tell us again, Brian. We're too stupid to get it.
Pretty explicit, at least it's pretty obvious what's happening. Some of this, I fear, is about illiteracy on the part of the voters, not knowing, for example, about the spending that's going to Ukraine that's actually funding American technology, right? Funding American manufacturing plants. And by the time you do learn those facts, it's too late.
But I do think, look, not.
And let's back this up just a bit. Freeze frame. Look at this heading. This is also part of damage control. The war wasn't necessarily provoked by the Russians. Oh, some more damage control. Optics are important. Now we're seeing a little more nuance. Oh, it wasn't Putin that just woke up one day on February of 2022 and just decided out of nowhere, I feel like today's the day I'm going to take over the world. Because that's what you told us. That was your narrative. Now, it looks like there might have been some provoking going on the NATO side. Interesting. You're kind of planting the seed in there, CNN. So yeah, damage control, 100%. They got to turn it around. And while they're turning around, they got to punch down on their viewer and say, you're too stupid to understand what's really going on. And what's really going on is capitalism at work, which is 100% the Western war machine trying to hold on to dear life of their own empire, which is crumbling in real time. We are living through the crumbling of an empire. And as we know, the way empires crumble, they always go down, kicking and screaming. That is a real fake news update.